Hey everyone, this is Nick from Mecca Warehouse, and today I'm back with weekly update number 92. Let's kick it right off and jump into weekend review. So where I talk about what's been going on this week, things that are coming up, stuff like that. And this has been, this is what our second full week now of operating the warehouse. Things are definitely getting smoother. There's a lot less of those loose ends left to be figured out. We've got a locksmith coming to work out a couple of internal locks and some issues with that. We're hoping to get an electrician in the next few weeks to improve some lighting stuff in here. But overall, everything's kind of coming together. Almost everything's installed. Everything's kind of cleaned up. We got a dumpster brought in this week for our cardboard, because cardboard's probably our biggest waste product here. I believe it's like a recycling dumpster or something like that. And we promptly filled it with all the cardboard left over from the move. So hopefully they will come to pick it up soon enough in the normal cycle that I don't have to pay for an extra pickup with any of the other cardboard that's going to be coming through. We've also made starting to make a few changes in terms of organizationally within the business as well. The two big ones this week, Santana we promoted. I guess we still didn't really formalize what that new job title is for the promotion, but she's essentially leading our marketing now. I'm trying to hand off more of the creative and control of a lot of the marketing stuff we do to her, so that way she can be in the driver's seat rather than have me driving it and her kind of executing what I'm coming up with, trying to put it the other way around, where she's coming up with the plan and executing it, and I'm just providing input. We're hopefully with that, we'll be hiring an intern at some point in the next few weeks. I just have to work out some legal stuff and make sure that the way we want to do that jives legally with labor laws and all that kind of stuff. And then the other big one this week is the promotion of Dylan to warehouse supervisor. So he's been kind of the senior minion, the minion in charge, if you will, that's been kind of taking the lead on a lot of stuff, but that's now formalized where he is going to be taking on a lot of stuff like printing the packing slips. He's got a desk of his own now in the warehouse where he can also print out like our check-in sheets and kind of manage the hours of all our part-time minions and stuff like that. That change takes him to full-time, just about 35 hours a week. But now we've got somebody who can look over and manage all that stuff, which means that hopefully at some point I could take a vacation and not have to be here, because the combination of Santana doing the media stuff, Patrick doing all the customer service and listing prep, and Dylan doing the supervising the warehouse, doing all the warehouse stuff, leading that up, means that for any given day I might not have to be here at some point in the future, which I'm really looking forward to. Maybe I can get a day off finally. And I guess the other aspect of all that is that Kate is going to be hopefully moving into a more in control position for a lot of our purchasing. Patrick will likely be contributing on that side. He was interested in that stuff as well. But she'll become the main point of contact to lead that up, and there'll be definitely more changes that I'll be talking about over the next few weeks. But I've been trying to push as much of what I do day to day onto other people, which then leaves me open to start focusing on the next thing and growth and stuff like that. And I think it's going to be an exciting chapter. Take advantage of having all the space in here. I mentioned Patrick earlier. One other thing, Patrick is still on vacation. I think it worked out that these 2 weeks are the weeks that he was on vacation, because coming out of the move, in a lot of ways, things have been slow. Like, for example, dings and dents. We didn't have a huge backlog of dings and dents that have already been won. Usually people start claiming them more and more as we get close to that 2-week window. So there's been less people claiming dings and dents, for example, which means less messages asking about adding an item to an order. There have been less scenarios where maybe somebody had damage in the last couple of weeks because we had a week where we weren't shipping. And so I think all of that has made my job covering for him a lot easier than it would have been if it were just any random other 2 weeks out of the year that he was on vacation. So I'm kind of thankful for that. So that's it for Week in Review. There are no pre-orders this week, so let's skip right to restocks. We're going to jump up and take a look around. There's a ton of stuff this week, a lot of good stuff. So let's take a look. All right, so first up, we got the Simple Stand clear, like figure stand. Might be good for holding up accessories or even figure kits. It looks like it's got different attachments for the end, claws, pegs, and the like. Char's Gelgu 2.0. These, I think we only got like a case worth, so these will not last super long just because of the limited quantity that came in. Full Mechanics Raider Gundam. So this is not a master grade, but is 1/100, brand new line of kits. I think this is the second Full Mechanics from, I think this is from Seed. Yeah, Gundam Seed. So those are in kind of a cool design, some wings and this large swinging spike ball flail thing. It looks interesting. Brand new release just came out, so great chance to grab one of those if you're interested. Master grade age 2 normal. I know we've had a few of the master grade age kits in stock relatively recently. Not sure about the age 2, but we do have that one right now. All right, from Flame Toys, the Leo Prime. So this is from, I think, some Japanese Beast Wars something or other. Brent would know. I don't remember off the top of my head, but it's definitely based on a Beast Wars design. I think it would have transformed into a lion if that was transformed. I think the one that's going to be a super rapid seller is the Psycho Gundam. This is a high grade. I think it's humongous from what I understand because it's really big in the anime. We did not get many of these. I think we have more coming, but I definitely wouldn't wait if you really want one of these. Grab one now. I think we do get another restock of that in a few weeks or months. Messer. These have been big sellers in the past. We finally got a mess of Messers this time. Ton of Messers. So we shouldn't have to limit these to one per customer like we did last time. They sold super fast, even at a one per customer limit. So if you need one, if you need a second one, or even a handful, now would be a great time because we have a really good stock of those available. Barbatos Lupus Rex 5543. So got this high grade in as well from IBO. I think that's been relatively popular in the past. SD, the SD High New. This is the SD BB 384 High New Gundam. HG Build Fighters Gundam Schwartz Ritter. Which one is which? Oh, this is from, okay, Amazing Ready. So this must be from one of the anime mangas because I don't recognize that design. It looks kind of cool though. We also got the Limex Tyrannosaurus. So this is made from that, it's like a ecopla material. It's essentially based on limestone, I think, the way they make the plastic for this, trying to create a more sustainable plastic alternative. And then we also got the HG Camphor, another great design. So we've got, was it 6 different pack entry grade Pac-Man kits. Each one is branded, I guess, with a different NBA sports team. So there's Milwaukee Bucks, Golden State Warriors, Houston Rockets, LA Lakers, Chicago Bulls, and the Boston Celtics. So I assume this is a limited thing that they're not going to reprint very frequently. So if you're into Pac-Man and, you know, yay sports, then go for that. And then one other one over here, the Plamax MS-17 second gun with third gun parts. You'd think it'd be just a gun with other gun parts, but it's not. It's actually some sort of robot, and it looks pretty cool, actually. It's almost like an SD type proportions. I'm not sure what that's from, if anything, but it looks like that must be second gun. Those must be the third gun parts, I assume, to kind of change it into, I'm assuming, a different character from whatever that is from. Switching sides here, 6128. All right, Sinju Stein narrative version, high grade. This is a really cool, supposed to be a really good kit from what I understand. I don't have too much else to say about that. I kind of want one of those at some point. We've got the 6144. The HG Zaku 1. Good to have Zaku 1s back in stock. That's a relatively old high-grade kit. I haven't heard too many complaints about it though. 148 Barzam. This is the high-grade Barzam from Zeta Gundam. Kind of a cool design. That box art looks really cool. So, kind of cool design there. So, Titan's design. I think this converts into a mobile armor, or is technically a mobile armor. I think it's got a transforming mode. It's kind of a cool design as well. These restocks are getting too big to do this. Jig and build knuckles, so spare hands. Not much else to say about that. So here's another interesting SD Night Gundam. Kind of cool styling, and I think it's got parts to turn the legs into like a horse. Very few quadruped mobile suits. So I built the Silver Bullet on stream relatively recently, and it was a pretty cool kit. So this is, I think, from Narrative. It's based on that design, and I think it's definitely very similar. I think the biggest thing about the Silver Bullet suppressor was that interesting concept from Narrative with multiple arms, because the B Magnum, the rifle uses, is apparently too powerful or something and destroys the arm. So rather than fix the arm, they make it better. They just carry spares. Interesting idea. 6275 HG Chars Gelgoog. So if you don't want the master grade version, you can get the high grade or one of each. Okay, another SD. This is the Legend Knight Superior Dragon. Yeah, that checks out. Okay, so another interesting. So it's kind of another Knight-like design. Kind of a cool metallic type finish, I think. And there's one more Knight one over here, I believe, the full armor Knight Gundam. So this is probably very similar to the other Knight Gundam, but with more weapons and accessories. That looks pretty cool too. I kind of want to snag one of those. This is dangerous. I need to stop doing restocks. I'm going to start buying stuff myself. Here we go. HG 00 Gundam 7 Sword. HG Turn A Gundam. We haven't had these in a while. These have been pretty popular. We've had them in the past. It seems like Turn A stuff doesn't show up super frequently, so it might be a good chance to grab that. G-Bouncer. So this is from Age. I don't know much about it. I'm assuming it guards doorways and throws out unruly drunks, but that's all I know about it. We got the MS Launcher 1. So it's the name's actually kind of misleading. It looks like a missile launcher accessory and a sword with a big scabbard that goes with it. Kind of like you might see on like an Astray or something. Looks like a pretty cool sword if you're looking for a sword, and those missiles might be cool to use as well for some sort of custom work. 7171. That would be over here, I believe. MS Blade 1. And so these look like they're basically various V-fins, antenna, and like command fins and stuff like that. Looks like a bunch of different options. So if you're looking for a different V-fin, or maybe even a replacement because you broke a V-fin, I don't know if these are necessarily intended for a specific scale. They're probably fit best with high grades, but V-fins seem like something that breaks a lot. So if you need a V-fin, that might be a good option to replace a V-fin. So some more Rabiots in stock. This is another 30-minute missions kit. I haven't built this one personally, but it looks like a pretty cool design. All the 30-minute mission kits are pretty solid all around though. Okay, and now over to 8. So Storm Shadow, we did not get many of these. As you just probably heard us, I think we have 2. They might actually last a while at 2, I'm not sure, but if you want one, just the window closes pretty quick because there's only a few of them. But this is basically a figure kit based on Storm Shadow from G.I. Joe. So if you were a big G.I. Joe fan, we do have the Speed Cycle, or no, that's Storm Shadow had a different vehicle. That was for Snake Eyes. Never mind. 8429 Windblade. So we got some more of the Windblade in stock. This is a Transformers kit. I feel like Windblade wasn't part of the Transformers universe when I was a kid. I think it's one of the newer editions. But I could be wrong there because my memory of that stuff is pretty flawed. 847B. So the one other kit we got back here is the number 57 Manhunter Deep Sea Ripper. I don't know much about this either. It looks to come with several different shark heads that you can replace in, so maybe there's several different ways to build it based on the images here. It's a really interesting character design with a very different kind of feel to it. So if you're looking for something different, that might be a good option for different. What else? We got some decals in. We got high grade Wing Zero. I think we got an extra one of some more entry grade Mark 78 full weapon sets. We also got Disc Bay paint restocked as well. And there might be a few of the things that we missed on here that either were latecomers and straggled in. So if you didn't see what you're looking for, it might be worth looking through the collection real quick just to see if something else is on there. And I guess let's go back to the rest of the weekly update. All right, so that was the restocks. Like I mentioned, a few of those things, there's a couple things that we didn't get huge quantities on. Some we got really good quantities on. I definitely would look sooner rather than later just in case, because I don't want you to miss out on anything. But there are some great items there. Let's move on to Q&A. So this is the part of the video where I answer questions from you, the viewer. If you have a question you want answered, you can post it down in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer it next time. First up, Plastic Crack 305. Question, will there be kits from YOLO Park and other third-party brands available for pre-order on the site, from stuff like Transformers MCU and stuff and such, even stuff from Pliobot like Gurren Lagann stuff? So hopefully, but I want to disclaim here that a lot of third-party stuff is not necessarily licensed. And so we will probably never carry things that are not officially licensed, primarily because we don't want to get involved in the legal headaches that could be there. We don't want to be off-putting to our suppliers of things that are all above board and stuff like that. So we'll be looking into resin conversion kits, for example, and kits from smaller manufacturers, but the legal aspect of that will have to be fine. So if you know something is an unlicensed thing, let's say Supernova, for example, most of their products are unlicensed. If they were ever to get licensed and be above board on copyright stuff, we would gladly carry it. We will not, while it is not officially licensed, if that makes sense. Next question, Perlis. How do you go about kits that someone working at the warehouse may want to pick up for themselves? So our employees get an employee discount. I'd like to think it's a pretty good discount, and they have a discount code they can use when they place that order on the website, and it's pretty much as simple as that. Sometimes, we get something in that we know is going to be popular, and dings and dents and stuff, they got damaged, and we will let our employees snag out of that pool before they go live. Hey, Dylan. Just to try to not take stock away from what's going to go on the website and things like that. But that's basically it in a nutshell. Okay, next up, plastic germs. What was one mistake that you made that you learned from since the start of Mecha Warehouse? To narrow it down to just one is going to be difficult because I've made so many mistakes. I think running a business and trying to grow a business is all about making lots of mistakes and hoping and planning to not have those mistakes be so large that they put you out of business. Early on, I think one of probably the biggest mistake that I made early on was figuring out the whole supplier thing. I didn't realize that there were alternatives in the US, for example, that were not Bluefin, which is now BNTCA, Bandai Namco Toys Collectibles America. There are other hobby suppliers that were available and you could purchase from in the US, and I just didn't know that they existed. Basically, I didn't know what to search for, and it resulted in me using overseas suppliers having really poor margins. And early on, I thought I wasn't going to be able to make the whole thing work, honestly, because I couldn't get things in and sell them at the price that everyone else was selling them at without taking a loss on every order. So we figured that out. We eventually got in with BNTCA, and then afterwards found all these other options. So I think that was the biggest one. And fun question: any plans to get a hoverboard or a scooter to get from one end of the warehouse to the other? We've been joking about like a scooter. I might have to borrow my son's Razor or something and give it a try in here at some point, because that walk definitely is long. Thankfully, I don't have to walk back all the way very often. Get my steps in for sure. Okay, next up, 0195. If Bandai ever built a Gundam base location here in the States, where do you think it would be? And which Gundam do you think they would make a life-size version of to mark the location? Besides Maxter, that's a cop-out answer, and it can't be one that already exists being built. So I think it's most likely to be somewhere in California, probably in the Anaheim, LA kind of area, because that's where BNTCA is now. That's where Bandai's headquartered in the United States. So it just makes sense logistically that it would be over there. There's a pretty large local customer base, I think, there too. And it's a place people might travel to. So it kind of makes sense in a lot of ways. If I had my vote on which Gundam they would build, it would probably be a Wing Gundam or Wing Zero or something like that, because to me, Gundam Wing is kind of the first big popular series here in the US and got so many of us into it. It just makes sense on so many levels. Okay, next question. Adam Sharonbrock. If we did make fan art, where should we send it? So he's referring to last week someone was asking about decorating the warehouse, and fan art came up, and you can email it if it's digital to nick@mechawarehouse.com, but if you had physical art you wanted to send us, you could definitely mail it to us. 38 Lock Road, Unit 4, Concord, New Hampshire, 03301. That's our new warehouse address. All right, next question. DF, with shipping costs still high and shipping Gunpla is already a black hole, I think it makes sense for Bandai to set up some form of production in North America. I don't think they would do it, even though I think it would be great. This has definitely been asked before, this kind of question. This topic's been brought up. I think the likelihood of them manufacturing kits in the United States is extremely low. And that comes down to one predominant thing, which is the fact that those molds are so expensive and would be very difficult to transport overseas and would come with some risk. I don't imagine you'd want to take your $100,000 plus set of molds and dies to make a kit and transport them over the ocean at the risk of them being lost or damaged. It's a huge investment to lose, and it seems like the trade-off isn't quite there. If they did manufacture stuff here, they'd probably send those molds over to manufacture it here and then send product back, and that doesn't seem to make sense either, because I don't think manufacturing costs are the lowest in the US. We got one more, Enigma DAS5. Is there ever a chance to get a Gundam X Mao or crossbow and Mao Gundam from Build Fighters? I would love to see those kits. I don't know when they'll make them. There's always a chance. I think they exist as kits, so it's most likely just a matter of when they decide to do a reprint. Maybe the next time Build Fighters gets an anniversary come up or something. But there definitely are Build Fighter kits that cycle through the rotation of reprints. I don't believe any are being reprinted or on any order lists now, but who knows, they could show up anytime. That's it for questions. So like I said before, if you have a question you want answered, post it down in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer it next time. Thank you for watching. See you later.